Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is called the Weekly Pint. It's not a show. It's a happy hour. It's an excuse for us all to hang out together. It's a live happy hour. You know how happy hours work. We hang out, we drink, we talk about whatever we want to talk about, and did I mention we drink? Because we do that. We drink. And I've got all kinds of drinks laying around. I've got things that I know I'm going to try on this show. I've got things that I hope to try on this show. I've got things that I'm going to have you guys pick for me to try on this show. We're going to drink all the stuff. It's been a busy week, and as you can see behind me, the Golden Gnome awaits. It's going to keep being busy for the rest of the week. We'll talk about all of that, but as you guys jump on, tell me what you are drinking. Let's see, Marco is having a Truth. Julia is having her last Smorty Jr. from Listerman. Let's see, Chris started with a Lagerstadt from Warped Wing. Nirvana or Bust from Third Eye. Now on to Creepshow from Warped Wing. And Josh is having a Lemonade Castallo. Oh, man, that is the full range of drinks. I don't want to go too far into details. If you are observant, you can tell some of the cool content that I've got coming very soon on Drinking with the Gnome about some products that are maybe not beer. I've been a little obsessed with things that are not beer lately and how they kind of fit into the greater picture of Cincinnati drinking. So stay tuned for that. And I'm trying to tweak all of these levels to make sure everything sounds good. I think we've got it. Let's see. Alex is having a Woolly Pig Fest beer. I don't know that I've ever had their Fest beer, and now I kind of want it. All right. Show over. Let's get in the truck. It's a heck of a drive, and they're probably not open on Mondays, so it would probably make things a little difficult. Eric says, impressive trophy. I've got a peso in my hand. I see what you did there. Peso in my hand. Here it is. This is the Golden Gnome. Lovingly crafted every year for the winner of Oktoberfest Quest, which, again, we'll talk about in a little bit. It's always nice to have the Golden Gnome hanging out around the house for a little while, and then it's always sad to see him go. It's especially sad to see him go if you never see him again. I like the places where I can go and I can see him again. Let's see. Eric says, love Woolly Pig. Haven't been there in a while. Yeah, I've never actually been to the tap room, and that, again, makes me sad. I would really, really like to go there. It's one of those places that I feel like speaks to me in a very deep way. Speaking of things that speak to me in a very deep way, I need a drink. Got an empty glass, an empty schnapps glass, and I've got some schnapps. I've had this on the show before. I didn't get a chance to pick anything new up lately, so we're revisiting. This is one that I loved, though. The first time I had it, I'm pretty sure I drank the entire bottle because it was so delicious. The last time, looks like I worked through about half of it, so this will probably kill it today. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things we got to drink, so we'll see. Marco says, only one beer in the finals has won before. Yes, we will discuss it. All right. Yeah, we're just going to give a nice little healthy pour here. This is a walnut liqueur. It's called Orahovic. Orahovac. I don't know how you pronounce it. It is a Croatian liqueur from a company called Darna. I don't really know anything about them other than they are Croatian. It is authentic Istrian liquors. I don't know what that means. And it is since 1925. 20% ABV. There is some stuff on the back. Again, I've tried this on the show, but I'll revisit it for all of you who either weren't here for that or can't remember. There it is, Orahovic. Walnut liqueur. And like I said, there's a little story on the back here. So let's see. It says, Orahovic is a traditional walnut liqueur that has been enjoyed in our region for centuries. This sophisticated nutty liqueur is moderately sweet with a hint of natural caramel flavor. It can be consumed in a variety of cocktails, over ice or chilled. Enjoy Donner's or Hovik as a dessert drink or after a fine meal. Now I remember, because I remember that from last time. It tells me that there's a couple ways you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it in a variety of cocktails, over ice, or chilled. And every time I've tried it, I just grab it off the bar and pour it in a glass. So I do it wrong every single time. All right, whatever. Let's get into it. It looks, it's kind of walnut colored. Kind of a dark, nutty brown. Mahogany, I think, is a good way to put it. Ooh, yeah. It smells syrupy and sweet. Smells great. I'm pretty sure it was great. I think I remember that. It does smell like something that I want for dessert. Smells like something that, like, I would go out for like a big pasta meal and then just want something really sweet for dessert. And this is what I would have. That's typically not what I do. My wife loves sweet desserts. If I go out for like pasta or something like that, I tend to just like want something real bitter afterwards. Some kind of, I don't know, Negroni or something. All right, let me get into this and see what it tastes like. See if I remember what it tastes like. Ooh. Oh, God, it's so good. Yeah, it's like, it smells like it's going to be really, really syrupy and sweet. And it's thick and full-bodied, and there's definitely some sweetness, but man, ooh, I always forget how good that is. I need a full bottle of that just to hang out behind the bar. Oh, that's great. Let's see, Derek just finished a Sam Adams Flannel Fest, debating number 2. No debate. I say you go for it. Same beer, number 2, unless you're debating what number 2 will be, because you don't have any more Flannel Fest. Then just get whatever's on the left and the front. Chris says, Sonder, just peachy here. I think I have some of that laying around somewhere. I think. Not sure, though. I know I have some of the fretboard peach beer. Or I did. Yeah, my wife might have drank all that. Summertime, man. Some of those beers go real fast. Speaking of summer beers that go real fast, I think we're going to crack one open here in just a second. Oh, that is so good. I wish... All right, here's a hot take. Not even a hot take. This is just my take. My moderately lukewarm take. I wish that there were more breweries, or I should say distilleries. There were more distilleries here in the local area that made products like this. This is the stuff that I think is fun, that I tend to, if I'm going to go and start boozing, this is what I lean towards. And maybe I'm weird. Maybe there aren't a lot of people doing that, so that's why they don't do it. Okay, but it's fine. I understand. You have to make money or whatever. But this is the stuff that, like, when I try it, it, like, ignites some kind of curiosity and some kind of excitement and some kind of fun, for lack of better words, in me that I don't know. I feel like I'm just missing from booze anymore. I feel like there's a lot of booze that has just gotten a little boring. And Chris says it's hard to find somebody with a 400-year-old recipe locally. That's true. I don't think you have to have a 400-year-old recipe to make something great, though. I think that you could make something really great without a 400-year-old recipe. A lot of booze and a lot of what makes booze kind of annoying is the marketing that goes behind it, and this recipe is 400 years old, so it must be better than this new company, and it's not. Like, you can make a great recipe today. Derek says, my fridge suggestion was for Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest. Nice pick. That was very good this year. I've had a lot of Oktoberfest beers. In fact, let me finish this, and then we'll start talking about some Oktoberfesting, because that is tomorrow. That is my big day tomorrow. Let's it's so good. Mm-hmm. Not just delicious, it's unique. And I think that's tough. Chris says you at least need a good story. Maybe. I think actually I've been working on an article kind of about that. It's tentatively called "To Live and Die in the World of Craft Beer," and it's kind of about success and failure and why some places fail, why some places succeed, what the real kind of science behind it is, and it's complicated. It's been taking me a very long to write. Eric says, I tried the meat stout at Gravel Road on Friday. That was an odd one, but couldn't pass it up. Okay, that's a great example, though, of like a story that makes you want to try a beer and kind of does connect you to something different. I think what I will say about it, let me crack open a beer that does not have a story at all. Got our glass ready to go. I shouldn't say it doesn't have a story because it does have a story. It's not a great story. All right, this is I teased it on social media, so a lot of you probably know. Mad Tree Light Lime. I am I'm not going to say notorious for saying this, but I have said several times that when we're talking about light lagers, I don't want mine with lime. I just want just a normal light lager if I'm going to drink one. I don't tend to like the lime beers. With that said, I have never tried this one. Also, the camera's crooked. Sorry. I've never tried it. I've had the regular. Oh, this has sea salt in it too. Okay, yeah. That sounds good. It doesn't tell me a lot except that it's always legendary. I don't know if anybody has seen that on there. If I can get it to where you can. There you go. It's always legendary because it's legendary lager. Legendary light. Legendary lime light. Lager with natural lime flavor and sea salt. Yeah, that doesn't tell me much. I do like the artwork on this a lot. It's kind of nostalgic, kind of tackles that same feeling. It's legendary light lime lager. It's nostalgic. It kind of captures some of those same branding things that a lot of the big craft light lagers are leaning towards. But at the same time, it's still very Mad Tree. It's got the tree big on it. It says Mad Tree on it. It's not hiding kind of who makes it and going some other direction with it. So I do like it. But let's see. It might taste like lime garbage. We'll see. I anticipate it won't taste like garbage. I trust Mad Tree. That goes a long way. There's some breweries out there that I don't trust. Mad Tree is not one of them. I trust them. All right. It pours like a light lager. It's bright, super clear. I'm sure that that comes across on the video pretty good. Super, super clear in color. Big, fluffy white head on it. Maybe like a light straw yellow. Not a ton of color to it. It's a light lager. All right, let me get my nose in here and see. Okay. Yeah, it's got some lime. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about it. It's got a big kind of lime aroma, maybe a little bit of some grassiness too, but not a lot. It's just it's lime front and center. All right, let me get in here. Okay. It's good. It's refreshing. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's still like yeah, give me the regular. I don't dislike the lime, but I feel like it's just so in your face. Um, it's not super like salty, which I think that um I was maybe anticipating. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's good beer. It's good beer. I think that with a lot of the other styles that I've been drinking lately, like Oktoberfest, it maybe hits a little more refreshing. Chris says that the regular is pretty good. It is, and this is good. Don't get me. This is like we're talking my preference, not if it's a good beer. I think that needs to be said. I think if you like light lagers with lime, you're gonna like this beer. That's just not typically what I go for. I was hoping that I would be wrong about myself, but I'm not. um, it does go down fast. It's clean and refreshing. Mm. Chris says that since he liked lime, turned me off to some of those. I again, typically if I'm grabbing a Cincy Light, I'm just grabbing the regular. The lime, I just have had it. Same goes for garage beer. Same goes for any of them where you can get a lime version and a regular. I'm just gonna get the regular. Maybe I would add some lime. Like if we're hanging out in the summertime and I've got some limes laying around, I might take one and give it a little squirt. Maybe, but even then, I can't think of a time where I've really done that. Because I want to taste the beer. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, clearly, when you talk about like what people want, if they're asking for an additional flavor, then they are probably leaning towards lime. Marco says, finish that fast and let's get to the bucket. You're assuming that it's a bucket. I actually was not planning on digging. The bucket's down here, that's why I keep looking down there. I was not planning on digging into the bucket. I was going to drink beer all night, other than my schnappening. I don't have any ice or anything, so it's just warm. And I can guarantee that some of these things, let me just look in just out of curiosity. For instance, Big Sip's chocolate martini. There is no way in hell that this would be good if it's not over ice. I am not drinking that room temperature. No, thank you. That would lead towards a bad day tomorrow, and I need to be on my top game tomorrow because, for all of you who are not aware, it's Oktoberfest Quest finale day. Something Julia says, I don't know, Yoo-hoo is fine at room temperature. I've never drank Yoo-hoo at room temperature. That sounds terrible. So Oktoberfest Quest is tomorrow. Finale is tomorrow. We are live at Mad Tree. Shout out to Mad Tree. You will probably not see me drinking any Mad Tree Light Lime, but I cannot thank them enough for hosting the event. This is the first time in a while that it's worked out that the host for the finale is not actually in the finale. It's happened before, but it's been a while, and I was a little surprised. This was and I'll talk about some of this again tomorrow on the show, but the last two rounds, so the finals and the round leading up into the finals, were both blind, or are both blind. The finale hasn't happened yet. And both the last couple winners were both in the second to last round and both got eliminated. And I figured that there was a chance one of them might, not any one particular, just there was a chance because the beers were good this year. But I would not have guessed in a million years that both of them would get knocked out. It was pretty shocking. But fair is fair. So we will be at MadTree. I can probably guarantee that at some point during the show, I will drink some Ziegler from MadTree, side beer or something. I will be drinking Ziegler because it is a good beer, and we will we'll crown a winner this year. We will we'll roll through them. I think I'm going to try to get an actual first, second, third, fourth breakdown of it this year, I believe. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I don't know how we're going to break the scoring out or anything like that. I have a couple ideas to kind of shake things up. But, yeah, we'll see. We will definitely see. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a couple guest judges on the show. I'm going to leave that top secret so you can be surprised who they are. And we will we'll figure it out. That's kind of, if you didn't catch on to the clickbait title of this week's episode. I love making fun clickbait titles. It adds to the joke of what this show actually is. The end, marking the end, is the end of Oktoberfest. It's the very end of this huge season for me, this quest. And it's a beginning into the next thing, which was going to be what I was going to drink. I had 2 beers that I was intending to drink on this show that were kind of more leaning into the next season, which is winter beers and Christmas beers and things like that, which I've got some fun stuff coming up for the Christmas season that we will talk about. I don't know, in a little bit, a couple weeks maybe. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But we've got some fun stuff coming up for winter. So I was gonna drink some winter beer, saying, this is the end of Oktoberfest and the beginning of the winter beer season. But it just still doesn't feel like winter to me yet. I'm not ready for winter beers. So that's when I said, I'll drink the MadTree Light Lime because that seems not winter. Julia says, and beer vent beers. Yes. If you guys have never bought a Higher Gravity beer vent calendar, you should probably do that because it's going to be a big topic of conversation on this show. I can pretty much guarantee that every single Monday, whatever beer I pull out of the calendar in the morning is probably going to be what I'm drinking on the show. Probably. Maybe I'll drink it earlier if something pops up. We'll see. Motors Brewing Company jumping on says, hopefully you can make it down to our Pink Ribbon Good fundraiser this Sunday. Ice Cold Motors American will be on tap. Buy you the beer and the best track burger in the country and fun for kids. It sounds like a fun time. I did see some stuff on social about that. Motors Brewing Company. We need to get Motors Brewing Company on Cincy Brewcast sometime. There's definitely a lot to talk about, and if you guys have not had Motors, get out and get some because they're making great beer and kind of a fun brand that taps into a community here in Cincinnati that likes to drink beer. Yeah, get down and support them at their fundraiser this weekend. So not a lot of Christmas beer talk this week. I'm not there yet. And I'm assuming that by the time December hits and we start diving into that calendar, I will be pretty ready for Christmas season, but I'm just not there yet. I do want to get through this so we can get to the next the next choice for you guys. If you enjoy drinking beer with me, which who wouldn't? I enjoy drinking beer with you. Chris says it was in the 80s today, for crying out loud. Yeah, it's been hot. Like I had switched. So normally I wear jeans like a lot. Like I almost always wear pants. It's very rare that you'll see me in shorts. I'm wearing shorts today, but normally I'm in jeans. And when it gets really, really hot, I will switch into shorts. And I had already committed in my head that I was done with shorts. I had put them all away and moved them out of the main spot I keep all my clothes and put them away in the closet. And I was like, I'm done with them. I don't need shorts anymore. And then the weather shifted again. It started getting hot again. And I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I got to get those back out. And yeah, I've been wearing shorts a lot lately because it's been hot. It's been weird though, because like in the mornings it's starting to feel like fall, but then it doesn't take long. It takes, a couple hours, and then all of a sudden it's just hot again. And like I hate the in between. I just want it to make up its mind and pick what it's gonna be. I don't like indecisive weather. I don't like indecisive anything. As I was saying, if you like drinking with me, which who wouldn't? It's fun drinking together. This week, I am hosting 2 different tasting panels for River Roots. The River Roots Festival is kicking off this week and goes on this whole weekend. And on Thursday and Friday, I will be doing 2 different tastings. It's it's kind of a mix. It's a blend between a beer tasting and a talk, I guess. Chris with a comment that I will talk about that here in a second. So I'm talking about storytelling through beer and telling a couple stories, telling some stories about some of the beers that we're drinking, some of maybe stories about my interactions with the beer, some stories that I know about the beer, or just some stories that the beer reminds me of. And I'll talk kind of why I think that's important and why I think it matters, which we kind of touched on a little bit before with story and how story kind of relates to your enjoyment of a beverage. So if you want to come drink with me out in the world instead of here digitally, get some tickets. Get your tickets to those. You can go to the gnarlygnome.com/tickets to get those. It'll take you right to a page, and you can choose, like I said, 2 different events, one on Thursday, one on Friday. The one on Thursday is earlier during the day, and then the one on Friday is in the evening. I don't know which one's going to be more fun. Drinking in the afternoon is kind of cool, and then drinking in the evening is obviously fun, and then you can kind of get around and enjoy some of the River Roots festivities, in addition to the festival stuff that's happening on both sides of the river right there. Don't forget that the Brewing Heritage Trail is doing a pop-up museum event up at the Jackson Cellars, and you can go and see this pop-up exhibit that kind of will give you a good picture of what this Museum of American Museum of Brewing is going to look like. And if you don't know about that, go to the website and read that. Julia says you should try to find a way to finesse the story about how you became the greatest American hero into that, a.k.a. the Saving Marco story. Maybe. There's a couple stories that if the tasting works out the way I want it to, will work their way into it. It also depends on what the crowd is like. I think that if it depends who's there, and I think that'll drive kind of some of the stories and kind of the way I'm going with it. It'll also maybe drive what we're tasting. I still have not decided. They haven't asked me, so I don't know if I just choose once I get there and tell them. I'm like, hey, here's the things that we're tasting tonight. I have no idea. So it's going to be exciting. Kind of winging it. That's fine. The best things are like that, right? It is a good beer. Whatever I drink next is going to taste like lime, though. which could be good. I'm looking at the beers right there that you guys get to choose from. It could be good. It's a good thing I'm a beer aficionado. Yes. If you know, you know. I should have brought a water in here. I think it's in the other room. So I can't even rinse my glass. Okay. You guys now have to make a decision. The first person that makes the choice will get to decide what I drink next. Ryan wants to know if we have forgiven Marco for picking the Lions yet. No, and I will never forgive him for picking the Lions. It was dirty. It was a point that he did not deserve. In fact, there's an asterisk by that point, and there always will be. No, will not forgive him. You guys need to you need to decide. I can either drink another light beer, or I can drink a dark beer. That's how we'll pick this. Whoever chimes in first on my chat, I don't know what'll happen on your chat, or I'm pointing over here because there's another screen over there. But light beer, dark beer, both solid choices. One local, one not. One that I've had a whole bunch of. One that I don't know that I've ever had. Marco says you can't have a soul in the deathmatch challenge. Chris says join me with the dark one. Ryan says dark. Julia says dark. Dark wins. This is not local. It is something that I have had a bunch of times in my life. It's been a long time since I've had it. So I bought one the other day and tossed it in the fridge, and I thought, you know what? This is something that I want to revisit. And I do want a different glass. I don't want this to taste like lime. This is Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald. If you've never had the beer, what are you doing? Number one. It is a porter. I'm just desperately looking around to see if I've got any clean glassware in the studio. And I don't think I do. All right, I'm going to run and grab a glass. I'll be right back. I don't think I have a Great Lakes glass clean. Oh, that'll work. Sorry, I'm ill-prepared, as always. Do we expect anything different, though? All right. Edmund Fitzgerald. It's a porter, 6% ABV. It says, robust and complex, our porter is a bittersweet tribute to the legendary freighter's fallen crew, taken too soon when the gales of November came early. So yeah, shipwreck in Lake Erie. I don't really know much about the story. I just know the beer. Chris says, great beer, but never had it in a can. Me either. I didn't even know they canned it, but evidently they do. Alex says, love me some Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. Chris says, I have one every year on November 10th. This year marks the 50th. I always remember because it happened 18 days before I was born. All right. Let's see if this beer is as delicious as I remember it. This was one of those beers that early on, as a early craft beer drinker, I fell in love with. I say we because it was kind of a group of a lot of us kind of discovering beer together. And dark beer hooked us in, and we would go to Jungle Jim's and buy whatever we could find because it was one of the few beer stores that we knew around that you could get good craft beer. And this was one that we definitely drank a bunch of. All right. Super dark. It looks black. When you get down here to this little part down there, you can see that there is some color to it. It's like a little dark, roasty brown. There's a little hint of red going on in there. Marco says, "Is it as delicious as my win in the deathmatch challenge this week?" That's disgusting. Oh, God, yeah, it smells great. It's roasty, chocolatey. There's like a touch of what I am interpreting as some kind of oxidation, just a touch. Which 9/24/25 is the canning date, so maybe that's my imagination playing with me. Yeah, chocolate, man. There's a ton of chocolate going on. All right, let me get in here. Oh, yeah. It starts off like real smooth and creamy, and then there's this really great bitterness that breaks it up. Amy says, "Never heard of Jungle Gyms. Do they have good beer selection?" Okay, I get where you're going with this, Amy, but it's not what it used to be. They still have a great beer selection, but you got to check your dates. You definitely have to check your dates when you go to Jungle Gyms now. But the draft beer selection is great. Always something fun and exciting there. But I have a very very special place in my heart for Jungle Gyms as a craft beer store, but it is not what it used to be. A lot of craft beer stores aren't what they used to be. There's not a ton of great places to go and get lots of craft beer. You get the kind of your standard choices. It's fine. I get it. What sells, and it's a lot of work to do anything different. Marco says, "Just saw some highlights or lowlights. They really handed the game away." Talking about the Cardinals. Yeah, it was a rough football week for a few teams. Man, yeah, I don't know why I don't drink more of this beer. There's a lot of beers that I say that about, though. Like there's Northeast Ohio Craft Beverage News says Classic American Porter, one of the best out there. There's a lot of beers that I pass over a lot that when I do put them in a glass and sit there and drink them, I am reminded that I probably should drink them more. Especially a lot of those core styles that have been around a long time. It's easy to just kind of to ignore them for kind of the newer, flashier stuff or the trendier things or something you've never had before and you're curious about. I don't know that that's a bad thing necessarily, but I am trying to make a very conscious effort to periodically just grab something off the shelf that I've had before, that I've had a ton of times, but that it's been a while since I had it. I kind of approach this the same way that I approach breweries. Like there are breweries that I love to go to and that I go to a lot. You guys know who you are because you see me sitting at the bar. There are places that I go to a lot, and then there are places that I try to make a rotation, I guess, of sorts, where it's kind of like this tiered list is the way I sometimes word it. Like there are places that are on a quarterly list where, okay, like if I haven't been here in 3 months, I need to go there. And there are places that it's like, okay, if I haven't been here in 5 months, I need to go here. Then, okay, if I haven't been here in 8 months, I need to go here. And then there are some places that it's like, look, if it's about a year, I need to go here. And there are various reasons that somebody gets themselves onto each list. Some places it's just because I don't. There's nothing that draws me there. And then there's some that it's like, man, it's just too far. And then there's some that's it's just the hours are rough, and so then they get into a different tier. But I'm saying all of this and rambling because I'm approaching beer kind of in that same way now, where it's like if there is Great Lakes is not a local brewery, but it is a place that I hold near and dear because of their role in my craft beer journey. So they get bumped to a different list than maybe they would have otherwise. But they do make it on a regular rotation of I'm going to pick up something off the shelf that I haven't had for a while from them. And there are other breweries like that. Trying to think of another good example. Sun King is one for me. I really love Sun King, so I try to grab something periodically whenever I can, whenever I see it from them. There's Anchor used to be one. I used to try to grab an Anchor beer every once in a while. Dogfish is definitely one for me that I try to do periodically. I don't know. And then there's some that like there are some breweries. Maui is a big one. When Maui finally started distributing here in Ohio, it was such a big deal to get a hold of that coconut porter, and it's such a delicious beer. And yet I can't think of the last time I had one, and like I feel like I should get them onto some kind of rotation. Amy says fatheads for me. Yeah, and fatheads is much easier because you can get it on tap all over town here. Like you can go to a lot of places and find a great fatheads beer. So periodically I'll grab that one too. Yeah, it's I want to say it's hard, but like it's not that hard. Like we're talking about beer. We're talking about going out and drinking beer. Like it's not hard. But it is complicated trying to split up where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money because it all does mean. I think it means more now than it ever has. Chris mentioned earlier about Allen's announcing they were closing, which I am still really curious. Let me see if they responded to me. I saw the listing that they were going to be, or they were back up for sale, and almost wrote an article about it, but I didn't. So the Post says, we're very sad to announce that our final day of service will be October 19th. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve the community of Columbia, Tusculum for 34 years. Thank you for your support. Please come visit us in the next 2 weeks, buy a round or two for the kitchen, and leave a big tip for your server or bartender. Schedule will be normal. Thanks so much for the decades of love, Cincinnati. We hope to see many of you in the next 2 weeks for jambalaya, gumbo, and good company. They did not reply. I don't actually understand the news. So this new ownership bought. This new ownership. It's a good ownership. They bought Allen's a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. Currently run another restaurant, and did what I thought was a great job of continuing on Allen's the way it was already run. Their original kind of statement, I guess, when the listing went live, was that it was just too much to be running 2 restaurants at the same time, which I understand. I guess I can't say I understand it because I've never done that, but I get it. That makes sense. It would be a lot. But to only give it a year and then to now find out, from what I'm understanding, that it's just shutting down is odd to me. I feel like, and my assumption is there's probably more to it on a personal level that's happening that we're not aware of, and we shouldn't have to be aware of that. Like, that's not their duty to make us aware of things like that. But as a bar, and kind of going back to, your early craft beer journey, one that plays a big role in a lot of our craft beer journeys. It was one of those places that was a hub of great craft beer early on. It sucks. It's painful, and it's I can't tell if it's the fault of drinkers and diners who are not supporting, or if there's something else that was just out of the control of any of us on this one. Chris says that's why you hire managers. Yeah. Hiring anybody is tough anymore. It's the bar and restaurant industry is struggling pretty bad with a lot of different things, and hiring good people is one of them. Zach Holly says, it's pumpkin season, and I'm drinking the Sasquatch Wandering Monsters Pumpkin Spice Coffee Porter. I love Wandering Monsters. I think they're making some great stuff. One of these weeks, I'll do some kind of a video about their vodka seltzers. One of these weeks. And maybe some other stuff. I do have some, I think it's out there, some Wandering Monsters beer we could have drank. Maybe we should one of these days. That'd be fun. We are getting towards dark beer season, and I think the beer that I have is dark. It's talk about this Allen's thing and about spending money and how you split up your time. Marco says getting a job is tough. Good Lord. Yeah, that's a can of worms. Every dollar that you spend right now means so much. We want to support the places that are local. We want to support the places that we love. We want to drink the things that are exciting and fun. And if you go and you buy a pint of beer that's not from a brewery that you really love, you're throwing this money away in a lot of different ways, and like that has really started to hit me over the last I'm going to say 2 years. That every dollar that I spend, there's a limited number of them that I can spend, and where I'm putting them makes such a big. It means something to me. Like, it means something like really big to me, and like I think that's part of the difficulty with beers like this. Look, I love Great Lakes. I think Great Lakes is a brewery that definitely deserves support. But if I have a limited amount of dollars to be spreading around, there's a lot of places that are higher up on that list for me than Great Lakes. And that's not a dig at them. That's just the nature of who I am and where I live and the people that I know and love. And that makes it hard to get to things like this as much as maybe we want to. I think. Marco said, getting a job is tough. Yeah, like I live in this really strange world now. Zach says you've always been a local beer guy and you drink mostly local. Yep, that is definitely true. I would say um, probably 98% of the beer that I drink, 98% of the things that I drink are local. Um, yeah, I think that's probably a good number. Um, I live in a strange world now that I'd never lived in before, where I'm just always constantly looking for work. That's what it feels like, which I mean, it is. A lot of the work that I do is freelance work, so you're just constantly pitching new jobs and like constantly trying to convince people to hire you for different things. And I I don't think it's gotten any more difficult over the last I don't know 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this, but it's definitely started to hit me differently. Amy says, on that note, come see us at Narrow Path. Shameless plug. Narrow Path is definitely a quarterly visit for me, at least. I love Narrow Path. I get out there once every a couple months, every few months maybe, and yeah, always freaking love it. Narrow Path. Well, I'm not going to give too much away about Oktoberfest and the way the bracket worked out this year, but Narrow Path was in it for a while. So we'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. Julia says, "Can I hire you to do Marco's death match picks for the rest of the season? I'll pay you like $25." His picks are fine now. Just his last one. Hopefully he learned his lesson. Ryan says, a couple years ago, Great Lakes had a barrel-aged amber lager for their anniversary that I still think about. Zach says, Marco picked Lions to win, didn't he? And Gnome was disappointed. Disappointed is not even, that doesn't even scratch the surface of how it made me feel. Out of all of the teams you could have picked, oh man, all of the teams you could have picked. Although I think I told him to pick the Eagles, right? Didn't I say he could have picked the Eagles? I can't remember now. Zach says a win is a win, though. That is not true. I think, and this is maybe bigger than an NFL deathmatch challenge that we do every week. This is a life statement. Let me get on a soapbox here. I think that in our lives, we sometimes have to choose things that maybe are not just about winning or losing. I think that what we stand for, what we believe in, what makes us feel good about who we are is more important than just winning or losing. I believe that to the bottom of my heart. I recognize that is a much deeper conversation than Marco picking the Lions over the Bengals, but that's something that I think about a lot. Why I do the things I do, why anybody does the things they do, and kind of where it all fits into this bigger picture. I know, deep conversation. Ryan says, "Yeah, you said the Eagles. The Eagles were a good pick. It was a good pick, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't pick the Eagles this week." That's a great beer. It's not a winter beer, not a Not a cold weather beer even. It's just a good, solid, drinkable porter. Good. Chris said had to finish up with the Four Roses single barrel. Okay. Also rinses the creep show from the snifter. I can imagine. Rinses everything. We're at about an hour, so we'll wrap things up. I think a good pour of some bourbon might be in my future too. Maybe some of that Northern Row bourbon. But Marco says the deathmatch challenge is about winning and losing. Other things can be on top of that level of decision, but football is not that to me because it used to be and it affected my mood too much. And we got a phone call coming in right as we were wrapping up the show. All right, let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the show. Who is this?
Hey, it's Zach. I had to say hey to you real quick.
If you're going to jump on here and tell me how you're rooting for the Packers over the Bengals, I don't want to hear it.
Hey, the last time the Packers played the Bengals is when my wife was pregnant with my kiddo.
Okay.
And it was that overtime game it was here in Cincinnati. It was a fun game. It was when Aaron Rodgers last played. And my wife was like, this better not go into overtime. And it's all those kicked field goals that got missed. And the Packers ended up winning. But my wife was so pissed off because it was so hot in October still. And we were sitting in the seats and we got stuck in the garage about almost 2 hours after the game. So imagine my pregnant wife after she's like, oh, I'm treating you to this game that we're going to see. And then it goes to overtime. That's a fun story, by the way, for the last time the Packers played the Bengals. But you know how I'm a diehard Packers fan. And
well, sure. And
trust me, I was rooting for the.
No, I get it. And it's a little different when it is your team and your team that you follow. I get it.
And that's why I think you're such a Cincinnati. And you know what? Cincinnati's a secondary team. I was rooting for them hardcore, especially because if you know, with being a Packers fan, Lions in our division, and we hate the Lions, Bears, and Vikings. But that's just the whole division rivalry thing, and it just sucks that the Steelers have to be the head top honcho in the whole division where the Bengals are. But I think with you being just the love of Cincinnati, that you're going to support your team like no matter what and what they do. When the Reds don't do anything, they go to the playoffs, you're still going to support them.
Of course.
And I'm learning that as being in Cincinnati myself. I can't say I'm as diehard as like you or anybody else who's grown up in this area, but like that's that true love for your city, no matter how well or horrible they are at that time.
That's the way it should be. And it should be that way about whoever your team is. I believe that about football. If you are a fan of a team, you are a fan of that team no matter what is going on. And maybe that's part of being a Cincinnati sports fan. Like there are a lot of bad years. That's just part of the thing you're bringing with you. That doesn't mean that you stop watching. It doesn't mean you start running around yelling and carrying on that everybody needs fired. And like, no, you deal with the pain when it's there, and you recognize that we're still in second place in the division.
And you know what, Jake Jake Browning, in my opinion, is not that bad of a quarterback. It's just. And, you can blame it on anybody, but you got to admit that O-line is just been so bad.
There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of different problems that when they all compound on top of each other, it means that you're losing games in a very embarrassing way. It's not one person's fault. It's a lot of people's fault.
Well, to keep us beer related, is there a certain beer that you like to watch with your games all the time?
No, so
is there a certain beer you always go to?
No, especially this season. So we have very strange, superstitious things that we do in my family. If I'm drinking a certain beer and we lose, I'm not drinking that same beer the next game. Vice versa, if I am drinking a beer and they win, I have to be drinking that beer the next game. So
that.
Recently, It's just been changing every week.
Okay.
There's some hats that are now not able to be worn anymore this season because they're losing hats. There's some beers that I can't drink, and
Well, I hope you're drinking some more pumpkin beers because it's now that season. You can't give me a shit for it because the pumpkin is here. Is there a pumpkin beer that you've had this year yet, or going to have, that you think you're going to be like, okay, this is my go-to pumpkin beer every year? Do you have a pumpkin beer? I know you do have Oktoberfest, but
I don't have a go-to pumpkin beer. I will grab a few of them. I have had some pumpkin beer this season. I made it down to Bocce to get the Rivertown pumpkin when they tapped that.
oh yes,
That's
yes, that's right.
probably the only pumpkin beer that I've had this season that I can think of. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm missing one that I've had this season. So, but no, I'm just pumpkin for me. I love pumpkin beer, but it fits into very specific situations, and I haven't found one yet this season that is like, oh, I gotta have pumpkin beer tonight. Maybe this weekend, because we're camping this weekend for like one
okay.
or two nights, and it's gonna be chilly at night and hot during the day, and that
Oh, it is
that
going to
means
get
that
cool.
there's this fun little pocket in the evening where you're sitting around a campfire, and
Dude,
pumpkin
those
beer
are the
works
best times.
perfect. Chris says
If
that
I suggest any,
Chris says, I grew up near Detroit, which means you have a team for every sport you root for, but I'm really only a Wings fan from there. Love the Reds, but now started as a Tigers fan. Root for them now, although the Blue Jays look awesome right now. Yeah, like it's also different if like you grew up with the team and then you move somewhere, and
sure,
watching that team is a little more difficult. So like you start to develop, like you said, secondary teams, or there's
sure.
people that switch teams. I'm like, I don't get it, but
Oh, I've never switched teams. I just have a secondary.
yeah, I get it.
Um, I mean, and I grew up in Indiana a lot of the time too, so I was also kind of like in that Colts area.
Yeah.
So like it's always been like, well, it's never been one, it's been Packers, then it's been Bengals, and then like Colts. Like I said, I grew up in Indiana, so that was a diehard. And they're doing pretty well too. Just as long as you're not a Jets fan, because I mean, Jets are cursed, dude. 0-5.
Well,
Come on.
I, you know, I don't, I try not to. There are some teams that I hate, and that's the nature of being a sports fan. Then there are some teams that maybe I feel like I should hate that I can't, because I feel like they're either
Yeah,
in a similar position as other Cincinnati sports or whatever. And then the Browns are one of them. Like I know that there's a lot of Ohio people that are Browns fans that
sure.
listen to this show, and I feel for Browns fans the same way that I
I
feel for
actually
other
kind of do
Bengals fans.
too. They're
They've got
not
it
as
rough.
bad. I don't know. They've won some games, and they have had a lot of bad like quarterbacks here and there. But you
They've
kind
had a
of
lot
feel
of
bad,
great
like I said, going back to
quarterbacks.
the Jets.
I mean,
Well, let me rephrase that. Some okay, good quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, I'll be honest, they fucking. Sorry, excuse my language. I can't believe that they beat the Packers, the Browns, and I was just like, "Are you kidding
I
me?" Right?
love
Now?
Joe
I was pretty
Flacco,
bad about that.
but I mean the fact that Baker Mayfield could still be playing for the Browns.
Dude,
I mean, come
Baker
on.
Mayfield,
Like
man,
there's yeah,
fantasy points.
yep,
That dude puts up some fantasy points. It's
yep,
so weird how he like went from Browns to now playing really well at Tampa Bay. I was like,
yep,
wow. I guess the coaching, you got to admit the coaching always helps out too, because Aaron Rodgers,
yeah.
with him playing last year in the Jets and now playing on Steelers, I think that whole transition of having a good coach, and unfortunately not being like the hugest, like, I can't say I'm a diehard Bengals fan, but knowing what's going on, I don't know if Zach Taylor is the greatest like coach at this
This is
point in time right now.
it's not Zach Taylor's fault. Like I said before, it's not any one person.
Sure, I mean, yeah, it's more
there's a
than
lot
that.
of problems. You know,
But
I well, I there I'm not gonna
I
shit
know
on
we
I'm
can
not
get
gonna shit on any of them.
no, you're good. You're
I'm
good.
not gonna
I
do
know
it.
we can get down a rabbit hole. Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to talk to you real quick about the pumpkin. I actually did want to know, since it is getting to the spooky season, do you have a favorite like Halloween movie that you watch and then curl up, as you could say, with a beer, have your beer, and you're like, okay, I got my snacks, my beer. Is there one Halloween movie besides Ernest Scared Stupid?
Yeah, I mean, this season that's been it. Like my kids are little, you know, they're 8 and 5. We're not
Sure.
watching a lot of scary movies in my house. We're watching Ernest or whatever they want to watch. It's my kids.
Well, I didn't know
My
if you
kids rule
guys
my
have a
house.
specific, you and your wife.
No, me and my wife just watch what
Okay.
my kids want to watch. My kids rule everything.
Oh,
We
well,
we live and die for these kids, and
and it's totally fine.
they make those
It's
choices for us.
I hope Nightmare Before Christmas is on there for you guys, because my
It
kiddo, 3 years old, loves that one.
Yeah, it has been. My youngest is in previous years has always been on it, but he has not mentioned it at all this year, so we'll see.
Interesting. The one my daughter did start getting into a little bit, just watching about. She got an hour in. She doesn't do a whole big movies with Hocus Pocus was the other one that we traditionally always watch. And of course, my wife and I watch Halloween every year because Mike Myers is my whole jazz. That's my main go-to all-time favorite horror movies. Halloween.
Yeah, I love Austin Powers.
Oh, Austin Powers?
Nobody.
That's a horror. I get it. All right, now, well, on that note, I don't want to keep your show too long. So, cheers to your Oktoberfest. It's happening Thursday? You want to
tomorrow?
Do a shout out? Tomorrow. Sorry, that is tomorrow. Shoot.
Yep. Tuesday.
Man, where's the time gone?
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Madtree Oakley. We'll be hanging out. I think we're out on the patio, and we'll be drinking a bunch of Oktoberfest beer and figuring out who goes home with this trophy.
I'm rooting for either West Side, who's never had it, and they have great beer, or Esoteric, just because I love those guys.
Yeah, both great beers.
Two, I'll be both great beers. So cheers to that, and cheers to the stout season coming upon us now too. So hopefully we'll start hearing more about the family tradition.
Oh yeah,
the Demogorgon is probably the next big one I'm excited about.
You'll definitely be hearing about Demogorgon on Cincy Brewcast very soon.
Ooh,
give me
all right.
Weeks.
I'm excited about that because Blake just interviewed Garrett himself. So you must be up next. So.
Yep, couple weeks.
All righty then, man. Well, you have a great night. Cheers, and hopefully Bengals can get. Well, no, actually they're playing Packers. Never mind. Packers are going to win this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully the Bengals win the next weekend. Hopefully the Bengals. So, hey, has anybody picked Packers yet between you, Julie, or Marco?
I feel like somebody. I think I might have picked them first week, maybe. I can't remember now off the top of my head. My notes aren't in front of me.
Coming up soon. So, but anyway, all right, man. Well, cheers. Have a great night, sir.
Likewise. Cheers, Ben.
All right, later, dude.
Tomorrow night, Madtree Oakley, 7 p.m. If you, I'll tell you what, even if you have other plans, cancel them and come hang out with us and. We're going to talk Oktoberfest beer, and I will break down how this year's bracket worked and what it's made me kind of start to change about the bracket. Like, there are going to be changes going forward, trying to figure this whole thing out and trying to make it better every year. If you have suggestions, I hesitate to tell you, but please send them my way. Send them to gnome@thegnarlygnome.com, and I will take them all to heart. If you like drinking beer with me, not only can you tune into this show every week, you can actually come drink beer with me in person this week. I have 2 different tasting sessions going on at River Roots on Thursday and Friday. Go to thegnarlygnome.com/tastings. Tasting. I think gnarlygnome.com/tasting. Go to that, and we can hang out and we can taste together and tell stories. Maybe stories that, well, depends who the crowd is. We'll see what types of stories we tell. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. If you like this, if you like any of the stuff that I do, you can always go to thegnarlygnome.com/support. Marco says, I'll have after show. Not tonight, man. I got to get a good night's sleep. I got a full day of work and then Oktoberfest quest. No, not this week. Although I am very tempted to. We could drink some whiskey and do something. No after show this week. Soon I'll do one in the next couple weeks. We'll do an after show for the Nomies. If you guys don't know, like, periodically I'll do an after show where we end the show, but then we just keep talking and we put up a link to Patreon, and you can jump on there and kind of just keep hanging out with us. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. We will do it again next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. That's what we do. This is it's not a show, but it is the most consistent show that I do. There are some fun things coming up, not just this week with Oktoberfest and all of that. There's some fun stuff coming up this fall. where you can come and hang out with us in person and we can drink, and we'll be talking about that very soon. Also, I'm going to call it the grand relaunch of the store is coming probably after the first of the year. I'm finally figuring out how I'm going to make that work logistically with my life and how all of it has been going. Some good stuff will be there, including this hat that I know a lot of people have been asking about. I've been prototyping several designs. For those of you who see me frequently, you've probably seen a few of them, but for a long time, trying to figure out which ones people like, which ones people will want to wear. And this one is definitely a winner. So stay tuned for all of that stuff. And if you are a Nomi, not only will you be getting some of the very first pieces of that that release, I'm going to throw something in there that it hints at a project that I've been working on for the last year or so that I haven't really told anybody about. I don't even think my wife knows about this thing that I'm doing. So it'll be cool. Stay tuned for that. Also, we lost one of our lights. It went to sleep. That means it is time to wrap this thing up. Thank you, guys. We will be back next week, same time, same place, all of that, every Monday night around 9:30, and we drink together. So thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's always fun. This is what a happy hour is supposed to be, and I appreciate all of you for making it that way. We'll see you next week, or if you're really awesome, we'll see you tomorrow at the Oktoberfest Quest finale at Madry, 7 p.m. See you there. Or you're lame. I'll either see you there or you're lame. Cheers, everybody. If I was making a Porter bracket, like a Porter quest, I think Eddie Fitz would be in the Final Four. That's what I think. Also, Marco, yes, of course Dippa Josh is coming. He's got to pour our beers. That's his job. Got to.